going. Okay, Jason has a consonant-heavy rack. Porch stands out immediately as a quick way to leaves the useful DR. There's a question of whether to double the P or the H. The H would score a couple more points, but the playing porch with the P doubled, not put a vowel next to the double letter square. Okay, he's going to actually go with chord. It scores a little bit less, but PR is a synergistic leave. It does very well with an E. There are some front extensions to chord. Okay, Mike looks to have the other problem. He has too many vowels. We'll be looking to clean some of. Probably looking to do some sort of an overlap. Start. But it would be hard to get rid of the O there if you just played like F. Okay. Oh. Fortunately, I'm not able to confer with the ghost of Paul Allen to see what he would say about this. Looks like he's lining up
22.
Thief. It scores 22, which is reasonable. Fortunately, an EOO in the leave is going to require some consonants on the draw to bail himself out. I guess another option might have been Cootie or something like that from the. Okay, so Jason has picked up double R's again, but the BP combination is a little difficult, so he'll have some more grooming to do. Play alongside Thief, something like maybe the first thing that comes to mind here. One interesting possibility, if he does make a play keeping OR and draws a U, he would have Euro as a front extension. It doesn't look likely that his best play is going to involve him. And Jason does go with Born. That will take, leaves the RAP draw of an E would be very nice to combine with those three letters. And there's the hook on Born that he made. Right, so Jason is up 49 to 20. And Mike's next draw doesn't look terribly promising. A slew of vowels, and FP is his only two consonants. It's a rack where you have multiple issues to address at once, and you just try to find at least does something good for you, at least in terms of school, cleaning up one of the issues with the leave. But it might take a while to mature a rack when it's in this bad a state. I believe there are 25 players in Division One, 24, something like that. The tournament has grown consistently over the years, and that's the 24 was in Collins Division One. We have a play from Mike here. Well, actually, he's just considering. But as I was saying, I think initially the Collins division was maybe 12 or 14 players, and it's consistently grown. Okay, Mike goes for poof.
22.
So reasonable score, but once again, keeping a slew of unfriendly vowels. It's interesting. Poof sets up an S hook. To worry about later. It is early yet. Although interestingly, Jason has drawn the Y, so he could drop, if nothing else, Bay and Poof score significantly. Score 49-44 to Jason. Jason most likely be looking for a way to score well with the X, but maybe X-Ray and Borna at the bottom. Jumps out as maybe the best way to do that. So my co-commentator Paul Allen is going to be joining shortly. That's good news. Jason down below 19 minutes at this point. This is a good turn to take some significant time. There's a lot to. It's hard to tell what Jason was considering there. I had to see that. He may be wondering about the validity of something he was considering putting down. And he puts down INNAY. Mike's going to check that. Yeah. With the 5-point challenge, it's usually right. Check if you're not completely sure that it's valid. So Jason will have to take that back. Mike has picked up the first blank of the Crescent City Cup here. Well, at least at table 1 of the Collins division. He does have some 4 vowels and clunky consonants. Well, the K may be difficult. We're looking to groom his rack a little bit.
7, 8, 9, 10, 20.
So he goes for Uke. It's a quick 20 point. Leaves a little more bingo prone. And sets up a possible S hook on the triple lane, which he may be able to take advantage of. Wonder if Jason's considering something like pry forming, I'm sorry, YER. At least score reasonably well. You would still have to hope that a better possibility for his X opened up next. In general, you probably don't want to keep an X in the lead too often unless the board is conducive to scoring. And that's what Jason does. Is it Jason small lead, 69-64. Looks like Mike is just about ready to play a bonus and take significant lead. Spoiled on the bottom row, forming jumps out first. Seems to be clearly the highest scoring player available. Some question of whether Mike knows the word, but if he does, I think a fairly automatic play in this. But again, as we learned from the lost turn from Jason a bit ago, if you have a doubt about a word like smoiled, you might hesitate to just throw it down because it's with only a 5-point penalty for challenging. If you have a doubt, your opponent might also have that doubt, and it doesn't take much doubt to a 5-point rule. So if you're not sure of it, I think there's a lot of second best bingos that get played in Collins games because of that. But Mike has lined up spoiled. He's clearly considering it. He just wants to make sure, I assume, that it's valid. At 93 points, it's going to be pretty hard to turn down in any case. Okay. So he plays Smoiled up there. That's interesting.
77.
You can see wanting to take the spoof hook, but it seems to be much more dangerous on the. So we have an interesting strategic choice, assuming Mike didn't overlook the spot at the bottom of the board. So Jason has picked up double A's and a W. Like a play like WAI would come to mind for. There's probably a lot of good possibilities here. The front hook for OYER. I don't think Jason can take advantage too effectively here, but he's really either looking to clean up the rack a little bit or score with the X. He does have Zawano, which is one of my favorite fives, but I don't know that there's a great place to play. Kind of interesting that if Smoiled was played at actually given a big X play back, I don't know that Mike would have had a way of knowing that, but. So Jason goes with Axon. Scores about as well with the X as he can. At first glance here. It does set up the possibility of a play involving Wex and Adu, a WA play next turn. So it may lead to more points. Oh, Mike has picked up the other blank and immediately lines up Starlet. So He should be ahead by a after this turn. Mike doesn't have a long history of playing NASPA tournaments in North America, but when he did very well. He went 5-2 in a one-day in Tacoma. Wins against Dave Wiegand, Conrad, Bassett Bouchard, and Peter Armstrong. So that's some pretty impressive company to be keeping. And Mike plays Detrital to take a 218-98 lead. Jason will need to get back in the game quickly here. A Twitter through the T. It doubles the W, the T of the second T of Detrital, I should say. Jumps out as perhaps the best play here. It may be a little of a tricky thing to see. It's not the first thing you might necessarily try out of those letters. Jason instead with Watt, winning Wex and Adu. Does score pretty very bingo prone EIRT. But he probably needed to play the bingo there to get back in this. So situation remains troublesome. He's still 87 points down. This is a difficult situation to be thrown into, especially if you're a less experienced player. The first time on stream, you already have the nerves going into the sort of competitive excitement, and to know that people can see. It's very difficult to block that out, especially if before. It's also worth mentioning that I'll come from great distances to play this tournament. And so, a lot of times the first day player, things like jet lag, just adjusting to the new time. While Mike has lined up divide, assuming he plays it, is going to put him in very good. Instead, he goes with Diva and Dyer, which does score well. It does. And so Mike still very much in. I wonder if he passed up the bingo because he wasn't sure of it, or if he wanted to take out that spot in the lower left that could score reasonably well. So score 258 for Mike, 131 for Jason. Jason, unfortunately, has drawn you, much toward bingo chances here. He can play QI alongside Detroit, but then while that would solve the Q problem, it'll block some lanes that Jason.
Three, four, five, six, 7, 14, 18, 21, 27, 35.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I missed a play there. Looks like Jason had played Bay and Spoofy, so he got 37 for that. And Mike responds quickly with I, which scores pretty well itself. Also sets up the S hook that he is holding for axe. So it does a lot of things that he wants to do. However, low S on the bottom right absolutely put the game away. But and then Jason does play QI, keeping a very bingo prone lead. But Mike immediately with Stonern.
Um, 28, 24, 25, 26, 27, 37, 87.
So that's going to take Mike to a 177 point lead. That's going to be pretty hard to over. Jason. I'm also told that this year, something new, we're having commenters vote or follow. I'm sorry. We're having a vote for which game will be streamed next, and it's now open. So if you'd like to vote, you may do so. Jason weighing options with a very bingo prone rack here. He's turned over the S. I'm not sure. Looks like maybe he vibrates through the eye of D, maybe the best available. Jason now under 9 minutes of time. So as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this is the 9th running of the Crescent. The prior 8 have all featured a Collins. 12, I believe, the first year. Significantly since then. Dave Wiegand is the only player who won the event more than once. He has 4 Collins titles in Crescent City. And of the other 4, 3 of them have last names. And that's a quiz for you. Yeah, Jason's rack's the kind of rack where if you see an answer right away, you're going to spend a lot of time racking your. And Jason puts down lavaters, which Mike challenges right away. Fortunately, that will come off. But again, with a rack full of bingo prone tiles like this and a lot of tiles to play through, you keep having the thought, it's like, I must be missing something. I must be missing something, because players spend a lot of time at bingos with letters like these. And sometimes it's not there. In this case, Evirate's there. Jason either didn't know or didn't find that. But, sometimes there's multiple, times there's nothing. So that's the thing. In practice, you always know that an answer, but live game, you can't be sure. That can be a challenging situation to deal with over the. So now it's Mike's turn. As the B, the M, and the H, midpoint scoring. Spot along the side, the E and Stoke, you may be considering taking advantage of that. So far, 3 bonuses in the game, all which counts for a lot of the margin here. Mike quickly takes advantage of that spot on the right. He'll be able to extend his lead. As it turns out, he blocked Evirates that Jason would have had. Jason quickly plays 8. I think Jason probably knows there's almost no chance meaningfully in this one, so it may be just a matter of reducing them. It's marks 184. And that's always a tough situation to be in. I've been in it many times in streamed games where the game is just out of. So it's very sometimes to maintain focus. A lot of the internal dialogue is saying that you want to start thinking about the next game. But again, it's a long tournament. I guess the important thing to keep in mind is that it's just, and even if you lose it by 200, you could win the next one by the same. You just never know. So it's sort of good to maintain as even a keel as possible. It's easier said than done, I'll be the first to admit, but it is kind of the goal, and I think it's something that a lot of good players achieve. Might maybe look to play something like men, OBE, and something down the side of column.
14, 15, 16, 17, 21.
He just plays off. It's interesting because it sets up a vertical bingo lane. Someone play amen or omen, and Jason has a number of sevens on his rack. He's just going to play Cater here, which does score pretty well, but he did have some bingo options. Again, I think it would be difficult at this point for even a couple of bonuses to get him back in. Mike quickly responds with Guam,
22.
which cleans up some of the difficult vowels on his rack. It's pretty standard play in that position, I would think. Jason has picked up the other two S's, but J and a W. Currently score 457, 268 for Jason. So if Mike ends this game with a similar spread, it'll put him in good position going in round two. Over a long tournament like this, 20 games in this game, spread can certainly make a difference. So you want to build up spread whenever you can, but I'm not seeing a real Jason just plays Wen Ewer and Ray. Does have the advantage of setting up Sewer for next turn, though there's still the issue of the J to deal with. Mike has picked up the Z. Looks like there are just two tiles remaining in the bag at this point. Mike's quickly lined up Za. Pick up 44.
44.
apologize. Temporarily video display, so hopefully that technical difficulty quickly. And we're back. Okay, Jason. About 2.5 minutes left. Looking to score reasonably with the J. Move on with the jigs and wedge Jason's considering. Provides a solid score. It's like 36. Seems as good here as anything else. Although there's also the spot for JAI, but he doesn't score both ways with it. So. And that's what Jason does. One thing Mike can do here is extend CO like GIN. Be another quick 45 points. Extensions like that can be somewhat tricky to spot if especially late in the game where sort of a more complex board and a lot of things to. In this game, it's not a close game. I'm not sure that it has much of an impact. In general, it's very, very easy to become fixated on others. Consider extensions when you're looking for plays. In this case, it seemed difficult to score very much with anything else. Just going to play newer.
23.
You are. Wow, Jake. Go out pretty EIS. Jason's now under a minute, but won't be decided. He finishes off with sight for 6. The like 12.
Do we like add or
points on,
or just double add?
So final score 520. Mike McKenna.
Okay.
5 sign.
Let's do that. So then 3.
just definitely went Mike's way with
35.
picking the blank, and then the second one, Stoner play a pile. That's kind of the story of the game.
No, that's cool.
All three
335,
bingos on the
524.
board were Mike's.
523.
So the first game of the Crescent in the books.